Number 10 still hot in the seat. We still keep on running, but the ground it never touch our feet. Getting wetter than this water on this fresh sparkle beat. You wanna feel that heat? I say, fuck your mask, have a blast. We free for once at last.
Everyday Christmas, positive wishes. Everyday Christmas, hugs and kisses. Everyday Christmas.
I am introducing our Christmas guest, and you will have live on air our Christmas guest, specially picked by me, always Carrie. Woohoo!
Everyday Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. You in the mix. Focuz TV One Network. Focuz TV One Network. Network. Focuz TV One Network. Network. You in tune. Network. Focuz TV One Network. Network. Focuz TV One Network. Network. That's Focuz TV One Network. Network. Focuz TV One Network. Network. That's right. Network.
You in tune to the Focuz TV One Network in the limelight live.
What's up, everybody? It is your host, the American Dream, Luca Brassy, and I'd like to welcome you all to In the Limelight live on the Focuz TV One Network. With me right now is my man, the Sarge. What is going on, my brother?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on here.
Absolutely, man. We're loving life over here, man. You already know. And before I forget, folks, okay, everybody watching out there, happy holidays, okay? Whether, no matter what, religion, race, whatever it is, however you celebrate it, okay? Happy holidays to you all. That's why I say happy holidays and not Merry Christmas, because I know not everybody celebrates it as Christmas. So happy holidays, folks. And also, real quick, shout outs to you, Teflon Taylor in the control room, my brother. Thank you so much again for bringing me this wonderful guest here, Sarge, okay? Because I'm looking forward to this, man, okay? I've been looking up your stuff for the last couple of days, getting prepared for this and everything. And I couldn't help, I said this before the show, but I couldn't help but notice something, okay? The first thing I noticed when I was looking at you was that we're neighbors, more or less, man. You were raised right in Clifton Park. Hell yeah, man, right in Clifton Park, which is like a town over from me right now, bro. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to give you the floor for a minute here. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about, like, what it was like, your experience in Clifton Park here, man.
Oh man. Okay. Well, my name is the Sarge. I am a Colorado hip hop artist. I'm more formerly and more popularly known as a promoter out here in Colorado. So I've been a Colorado promoter for the last 6 years out here in the scene, throwing events, booking artists, throwing shows, anywhere from hip hop shows, comedy shows, rock shows, et cetera, et cetera. So, but right now I'm kind of taking a break from that and going to school and focusing on my music right now. But I am, like you said, originally from New York. I grew up in Clifton Park, which is funny because not a lot of people know about Clifton Park unless you're from that area. So it's like,
Right.
so automatically they assume I'm from New York City. But I lived in Clifton Park till I was in about the 8th grade, and then I moved to Brooklyn in the 8th grade. And then that's when shit started spiraling downhill, and teenagers and growing up and whatnot. But growing up in Clifton Park, oh man, it's totally different. Compared to the way life is now. It's weird, and I haven't been back to Clifton Park since I left Clifton Park, which has been a really, really long time. So I've had a pretty extensive journey since then, so it's been a while. But I've had a lot of great memories of Clifton Park. I used to go to Shenendehowa, Carrigon, man, or Arcadia, the school, the Shenendehowa School District out there. I used to play Little League out there at the Clifton Commons. Man, yeah, along with that roller skating rink too. I actually used to go to summer camp out there. And I don't know, upstate New York is pretty popular in hockey up there. So
Yes.
you get you get a lot of growing up playing hockey. However, I didn't get to play hockey growing up. My parents were too cautious, I guess you could say. I didn't get to play football, lacrosse, all the cool sports that we were playing up there in New York. I played baseball, so that was quite a bit. But and then I did taekwondo up there too. So it was a pretty simple life. I had some pretty good parents, took care of me, maybe a little too much.
That's what they do, bro.
Right. But that's the way life is up there. So, that's where, as an artist, especially as a hip hop artist, I don't come, with the typical, street sound and, street life and rapping about the streets and, how all that is and whatnot. I come from a totally different angle, totally different opposite angle. A little bit more subtle when it comes to hip hop and, kind of changing the stigma of hip hop, I guess you could say, whatever negative stigma there is that comes with hip hop, which in a lot of places it can come with quite a bit of a negative stigma. So yeah.
Now, okay. Now tell us a little bit about that, man. You say you don't do typical hip hop, which I myself really don't either. I don't try to act street or like a thug or anything like that with the way I do my music. I'm working on a record right now with a couple of other independent artists. A guy we actually just had on the show, LJS. We're collabing with another buddy of mine. But like when you say like it's not typical, like give us an example like of like maybe like a song concept that you would do like typically.
Okay, so being a military veteran, I have a couple songs that kind of depict my deployments, a couple of my deployments, my time during my deployments, maybe a mission or two that happens, kind of like telling a story of what happened, so when I perform it comes out a little bit more vivid, and to the point where, I've had grown men cry listening to this, especially military veterans that have gone through and experienced, similar things
Right.
That I depict in my music that I've gone through in real life. So things like that. I have not a lot of people write songs about their kids or their family. You know what I mean? You don't hear that a lot. I mean,
Unless
you
you're
hear
Eminem.
it. Yeah, right.
Unless you're Eminem.
Right, but it's still a good topic to rap or to sing about every now and then to kind of change things up. But most importantly, I think I like being an entertainer. I was always the class clown, in school. I was always getting in trouble, always getting, and my biggest thing has always been entertainment. I was always a goofball, even in basic training. I got stories for days for basic training of how much I was a goofball in basic training and how much I got smoked for being a goofball because I'm naturally that entertainer. So in the end, it turned out, pretty well. I mean, in the end, but for example, my latest song, Skiddly Wop, is a good prime example because I've heard people, talk about, does music have to make sense, and and this and that, does it have to have a message, and this and that. And I wrote Skiddly Wop on the premise, that not necessarily, like if you listen to Skiddly Wop, it's definitely a bunch of random words that make absolutely no sense, but sounds dope, put together. So, it's things like that. So I do a variety of different, things like that as far as entertaining. I rap about, just kicking back, smoking weed, especially being out here in Colorado because, that's what we do out here. We smoke a lot of weed. But most importantly, kind of going back to, ultimately, music having a message, it is about, it's when it comes to smoking cannabis, I am a cannabis refugee. Cannabis has saved my life. So I'm a huge pro supporter of the legalization of cannabis in all 50 states. So I've participated in Normal, Texas, COCW, and various organizations to help fight to legalize cannabis. So things like that, and kind of giving it a little bit more of a different angle when it comes to the definition of music and the definition of hip hop, so.
Got you. Good, man. It's interesting, man, because so much hip hop is like other hip hop. It's nice to see, what I'm saying, when somebody comes with an original, sound and tries to come from another place, man. So I can always appreciate that because that's how I've always tried to do my music as well. So I love that, man. So anyway, folks, right now, what we're going to do, we are going to cut to a quick little commercial break, but do not go away because when we come back, we're going to be finding out where the name the Sarge actually came from and originated, number one, and number two, what led the Sarge into the hip hop game. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Number 10 still hot in the seat. We still keep on running, but the ground it never touch our feet. Getting wetter than this water on this fresh Bronco beat. You wanna feel that heat? I say, fuck your mask, have a blast. We free for once at last. Number 10 still hot in the seat. We still keep on running, but the ground it never touch our feet.
And he still do. Everything you heard about Styles still true. They try to water me down, I use that to tear down the walls they box me in. That's why I got a mildew. And I'm still the same style. Had to steal from the collection plate to pay the same ties. Had to borrow shoes from guys that wore the same size. Me and my wife had to split a burger and share the same fries. So don't talk to me about a struggle.
Yeah. Purpose. See, everybody got a purpose. You just gotta find your purpose. See, everybody got a purpose. You just gotta find your purpose. See, everybody got a purpose. You just gotta find your purpose. See, everybody got a purpose. You just gotta find your purpose. Yeah, that's the meaning of life. You just gotta let it flow and find out what direction to go. Purpose. See, everybody got a purpose. You just gotta find your purpose. See, everybody got a purpose. You just gotta find your purpose. See, everybody got a purpose. You just gotta find your purpose. See, everybody got a purpose. You just gotta find your purpose. That's right, Purpose is Talk Show. The talk show with a purpose. Only on the Focuz TV Network. That's right.
You in tune to the Focuz TV One Network. In the Limelight Live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to In the Limelight Live with the American Dream, Luca Brassy, and with me now is the Sarge. Before we left, okay, we were talking a little bit about his musical style and, you know, that type of thing. So now, why don't we get into your influences, brother, okay? Who influenced you to get into hip-hop, and what drew you into the hip-hop game?
Oh, shoot. Okay. Influences kind of came a little bit later. As far as hip hop, I think I've always been kind of musically inclined growing up. I grew up playing piano, classically trained in piano for about 7 years until I was about in the 7th grade, until I kind of blew that off and kind of got bored of it after a while. And So and I've always been artistic. So the military has just been like a good chunk of my life. But as soon as I got out, I kind of try to pick that back up as much as possible. But what influenced me to start rapping was my music in general. It was more of a therapy. So I would write poetry. I was going through a lot of issues transitioning, getting out of the army at that time. It was like my last duty station, so I was going through a really rough time with chain of command, really sucking, and then going through a divorce, coming back from my second deployment as well. So it was just a lot going on in my transition, getting out of the army. So one of the tools that I was taught to utilize was, writing in the journal and whatnot. So and I guess the best way I could let it out and put it down was more of like a poetic style. So once I had like books, filled with these poems, this poetry and whatnot, and decided one day, hey, let's put a beat to it. I was listening to beats one day and kind of seeing if it would fit, my lyrics would fit to the music and whatnot, and
Right, yeah.
and that's when I started creating, officially creating my first track and whatnot. So and this actually started before I got out, but I was doing it more heavily, more seriously, once I got out of the army. So
Got you. Now, we established, that you kind of started, writing the music and getting serious about it while in the military and everything. Okay. Now, what about the name? Okay, the name the Sarge. Okay, I read up on how you got it, but the audience doesn't know. Okay, so
right.
why don't you go ahead and explain? Because it's an interesting name, man. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first heard it, I was like the Sarge. I'm like, there's got to be a story behind that. So go ahead and tell the people what's up.
And the story isn't as exciting as you might, expect, but it simply is because I was an E5 in the army. And it was my last duty station. I was an E5 out throughout until about the last month I was in the army. So, I was, everybody that approached me, hey, Sergeant Ung, Sarge, this and that, even off work. I'd hang out with my soldiers and whatnot, and they address me as Sarge. They wouldn't address me as my last name like they typically do in the military, or by my name. It would be Sarge. Hey, Sarge. Hey, Sarge. Until even I ended up getting demoted the last month I was in the army. Of course, for smoking weed. I pissed hot for weed. But I was already getting med boarded, so it was already, an inevitable process, whatnot. But so the only thing they ended up doing was taking my rank. Which even after that, even after they took my rank, all my soldiers, all my Joes, all my, work buddies, they would still call me Sarge, even though if I wasn't wearing sergeant stripes anymore at that point. So the name just ended up sticking everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, with friends and whatnot, they would introduce me as Sarge. They wouldn't introduce me as Mike. It would be like the Sarge. So it ended up sticking. And before, like I said, I started writing my music before I got out of the army, and before, at first I really didn't have a name until I kind of came up with some. It was ridiculous. It was called DJ Ung Bung. That's what I was going by at one point. DJ Ung Bung. So until finally I got out of the army, I started actually recording and putting stuff out, and that's when everybody, is just like the Sarge this, the Sarge that. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just keep it. And that's how it originated, and it just ended up sticking, and kind of catching on since then. After that, so
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. I like hearing like stories about how people came up with their names and everything. Like when I was coming up with the Luca Brassy stage name, it was as simple as literally taking my whole government name and mushing it together. And like I was thinking about it for days. Like I had a stage name that I've been working under since I've been 13, but I was getting older and it didn't work no more. And so I was like, I got to come up with something else. And then it just hit me. I was sitting at a red light one night, and all of a sudden I was like, wait, this is simple. I'm like Luca Brassy. I'm like, wow. I was like, how simple is that, right?
Yeah,
So
I think it's like one of those things where you can't create your name. It has kind of come to you, you know.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened, man. I had a list of 50 names, people's recommendations, and some of the names one of the names I will never forget was this a friend of mine. She sent me, how about Blue Valiant? I'm like, Blue Valiant? I'm like, what the fuck is Blue Valiant? What the hell does that even mean? I'm like, nah. I was like, no. I was like, that's a corny ass name.
It sounds like an ED pill.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, it does. It sounds like something that'll make you trip out. But anyway, man, now one of the things I wanted to touch on briefly, okay, I think my boy Tony is actually listening right now. Shout outs to you, Tony. And he was stationed actually at a point where you were stationed, which is Fort Drum, New York.
Oh,
Okay?
yes.
I've actually been there. I went up there to visit him several times, man. So I actually know it's like its own little town community.
Yep,
It's
yep,
like a town
Watertown,
within a
New
town.
York. It's actually where my daughter was born, in Watertown.
No doubt. Okay. So how was your experience there, man, being stationed there?
Oh my God, I loved it. Honestly, best best unit that I've ever been with. I know so many of my friends would totally beg to differ, but being born in Thailand but raised in New York since I was 3.5, I'm used to those cold winters. I'm used to blizzards, like whiteout blizzards, -50, below zero, like that kind of weather. So I'm used to that. So New York for me, and a lot of people don't like it because it's cold, and it's just cold, 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 cold. But I loved it. I love going out training in the snow, cold weather training. 10th Mountain taught me more like super high speed because I was an infantryman. So 10th Mountain taught me more high speed infantry shit than any unit that I've ever been with. I was with 4ID with the prestigious 1st Battalion, 22nd Infantry, which was the unit that helped capture capture Saddam. Then and then I was with 10th Mountain. I was with Triple Deuce, 2nd Battalion, 22nd Infantry, and then 3rd Brigade, 287, which I deployed to Afghanistan with them. And then right after that, went to 1st Armored Division to help stand up a new unit with 1st Armored Division out at Fort Bliss, Texas, in El Paso. So when we left, when we got back from Afghanistan with 10th Mountain, we got sent, like half our battalion ended up getting orders to go to Fort Bliss. And right there, like just coming from 10th Mountain, everybody from Fort Bliss and 1st Armor like looked at us like we were gods, dude. Like, oh my God, they're the 10th Mountain boys and whatnot. Honestly, like the best chain of command. And I loved it because they really truly cared about their family, which is really important when it comes to a military community, especially in the unit such as 10th Mountain Division, which is one of the most deployed units in the Army. So you got to take care of your soldiers, from the chain of from your leadership to your chain of command to the post itself. And not just the soldier, but their families too, and make sure, because it is a community, it's a family, we're all going to deploy together. We're all trying to come back together. So in a sense, we're all kind of a family. So that's the one thing I loved about Fort Drum, 10th Mountain Division, is because, they really cared about their soldiers. They had a lot of family incentives, a lot of outings, a lot of get-togethers for families. The units did shit together, and got families together, and it really built a lot of camaraderie. And that's one of the most important things when it comes to situation like that, when you're deploying to a combat zone and taking care of your own. So, but I loved it most importantly because I loved hunting. I loved collecting my guns. And Fort Drum is the only post that I've ever experienced where turkey season, first day of turkey season, if you can provide turkey tags, they will let you off of PT to go take off the rest of the day to go turkey hunting. No other post does that. So that's why I love 10th Mount. But yeah, no, 10th Mount, Watertown, Alex Bay, Pirate Week. Oh my God, I love that area. It's beautiful as hell. I've actually talked to my wife I want to try to buy a house back out there in New York, just not in New York City because that's way too much.
Hell no. So anyway, folks, we got to cut to one more quick commercial break. All right. And then we're going to come back. We're going to wrap things up here with the Sarge. We've got a few more closing questions for him, but do not go away because we will be right back after this.
Number 10 still hot in the seat. We still keep on running, but the ground it never touch our feet. Getting wetter than this water on this fresh Bronco beat. You wanna feel that heat? I say, fuck your mask, have a blast. We free for once at last.
I am your host, Kimberly Trapani of the Focuz TV1 Network Purpose Show. I am wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Everyday Christmas, positive wishes. Everyday Christmas, hugs and kisses. Everyday Christmas.
I am introducing our Christmas guest, and you will have live on air our Christmas guest, specially picked by me, always Carrie. Woohoo!
Everyday Christmas.
I'm stuck in my ways, yeah, that's for sure. You got it.
You in tune to the Focuz TV1 Network. In the Limelight Live.
Yeah, that's right. Network. Focus TV Network.
And he still do. Everything you heard about style still true. They try to water me down, I use that to tear down the walls they box me in, that's why I got a mildew. And I'm still the same style. Had to steal from the collection plate to pay the same ties. Had to borrow shoes from guys that wore the same size. Me and my wife had to split a burger and share the same fries. So don't talk to me about a struggle.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is Luca Brassy in the Limelight Live here with the Sarge. Before we left, we were talking a little bit about Fort Drum and his experience there and how much he loves it and the reasons why. So we got a few more questions that we're going to be asking, and then we're going to be wrapping things up. But one of the things that I want to touch on, is you've done some opening acts for some pretty, high reputable people. Think people like Isham, Tech Nine, Wu-Tang. So how was your experience opening for these bigger acts like that?
My experience is, I think it's been great. It's been great. Especially, experiencing that, especially like as a newer artist, experiencing that, because a lot of these artists were, artists that, I grew up listening to, and, knowing that, hey, I have an opportunity to perform and open and share my music for these guys on these shows, is a huge deal. And it's a great opportunity either way, now granted, Tech Nine, however, I'm a little Tech Nined out right now. So like every time I hear Tech Nine, it's like, no. So but as far as opening, it's pretty surreal. Second Chance, Best Believe, all those guys, like you said, Rough Riders. It's I guess it's just part of at this point in my career, it's like part of the gig now. It's kind of expected. But now I think it's a lot more important, especially as an up and coming artist, to definitely get in on these opportunities, especially getting your name out and help building your name and whatnot. But then it gets to a certain point, where you can take off on your own and let your wings, out and expand and fly, and start making a name for yourself. And that's where I'm at right now at this point. So.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Now, before we get to the upcoming things that you have that people should be looking out for, one of the things I wanted to ask you that I was actually curious about myself is the Full Sail University project. Okay, that's something that I saw on your website there, and I wanted to ask you, like, what is that exactly? What's that all about?
So that website itself is essentially like my EPK portfolio, many things that I've done, not just in my music and whatnot, but especially going through Full Sail University. I'm getting my degree in audio production. So that doesn't necessarily mean just producing music, producing, mixing, mastering, recording music. It's also entails pretty much anything in the entertainment industry that has to do with sound or audio, whether it's live stage sound or recording and creating sounds for Foley, for video games, for movies, sound effects, cartoons, voiceovers, stuff like that. So anything that has to do with recording and mixing the sound to the right levels for whatever it's being used for. Um, so um, so yeah, can you kind of refresh what the question was again? Kind of go back.
No, I was just asking about the Full Sail University project, and exactly, I think you
Okay,
pretty much
so
answered.
so that page is essentially a couple of the projects that I've done, such as like Cartoon Foley or remix project or any kind of sound effects project that I've done with the school so far, just to show my abilities and the extent to what I do besides just doing music. So
Very good, man. Yeah, and also be expecting for my boy Tony to hit you up because he is watching and listening right now, and you guys are like military brothers, basically. We're based at the same place, man. I got that. I was
awesome.
shocked, man. Like you're my neighbor, and you were also his neighbor. You know what I'm saying? That's my best friend. So when I saw that, I was like, oh man, Tony's gonna love this guy. But
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks,
yeah,
Tony.
yeah, no, he's watching too, man. So he appreciates the shout out, man. But anyway, before we wrap things up here, man, I'd like to give you the floor to give any shout outs that you would like to give. Also,
man.
your contact information that people can get a hold of you, and anything that you'd like people to know about upcoming projects, releases, performances.
Okay, yeah. I just dropped my latest 2-track EP, holiday EP, just something a little fun for the holiday season called the Sarge's Dirty Christmas Classic Collection. It's on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, everywhere, Pandora, everywhere. So go check that out. My latest track, Skiddly Wop, is also released on all platforms. Go check that out. That's one of my favorites, and it's been one of the biggest ones so far. So, and then I got a couple other projects, other collabs that I'm working on with a couple artists here and there. Um, and then I've got one event this upcoming before the end of the year, December 30th. It's a private formal ball party that I'm throwing, kind of like a last shindig for the year and whatnot. Got a couple performances. But I'll be in Kentucky, January 14th in Corbin, Kentucky, with Bry Lou and the Idiots Across America. They're our touring group, which we all toured earlier this year. We're the Idiots Across America tour. So we're kind of coming back together and opening up for tour mate Bry Lou out in Corbin, Kentucky in January. So, but until then, I'm pretty much focusing on school, finishing. I got one more year until I graduate. But in the meantime, I'll be working on more music throughout this year. 2023, there'll be more new music. Hopefully a couple more performances, a couple headlines. But I know a lot of people have been wondering when I'm going to be coming back, throwing shows and whatnot. But we're definitely putting a hold on that. But if you want to get a hold of me, the best way to get a hold of me is the SARGE10MHX at gmail.com or on Messenger. That's probably the easiest way. But I'm at the Sarge on Messenger, Instagram, the Sarge 10, TikTok, the Sarge 10. You can Google me, the Sarge MHX. Google's probably the best way too.
That brings up
Yeah,
everything.
right. But I'm on all my music's on all platforms, SoundCloud, Spotify. I'm on Reverb Nation, number one music, pretty much everywhere. So, and then my link tree, I blast it all on my profile on social media. So that has all the links to all my music, my website, everything, all my updates, everything that I've got going on and will have going on, so you guys can stay in touch and up to date. So
All right, very good, man. Very good. Sarge, my brother, thank you so much for being with us, man. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time. No, absolutely, bro. And yeah, folks, again, this is the Sarge. This is Luca Brassy. Okay, had a great time doing this interview. I think we covered a lot of stuff, man. And again, man, it's been an honor, bro. Okay, you've done a lot of different stuff, man. You know, and you should be really proud of yourself. And you know what I like about you, man? You remain humble about everything, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love that about people. Man,
It's just a journey. It's just a journey. I'm 38 years old, 9 years combat deployment, combat veteran. It's just my retirement. I'm just trying to take things easy and just enjoy the ride, So
good for you, man. Good for you.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. All right, folks. Happy holidays to everybody. My man Teflon Taylor, shout outs to you again, bro. Again, folks, however you celebrate it, happy holidays. Okay, have a good new year, everybody. The Sarge, Luca Brassy, we are signing out. Peace and pow.
Yeah.
Number 10 still hot in the seat. We still keep on running, but the ground it never touch your feet. Getting wetter than this water on this fresh Bronco beat. You wanna feel that heat? I say, fuck your mask, have a blast. We free for once at last. Number 10 still hot in the seat. We still keep on running, but the ground it never touch your feet.
Everyday Christmas, positive wishes. Everyday Christmas, hugs and kisses. Everyday Christmas.
I am introducing our Christmas guest, and you will have live on air our Christmas guest, specially picked by me, always Carrie. Woohoo!
Everyday Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Number 10 still hot in the seat. We still keep on running, but the ground it never touch our feet. Getting wetter than this water on this fresh Bronco beat. You wanna feel that heat? I say, fuck your mask, have a blast. We free for once at last. Fuck your protest, fuck your right. I'm such a dick. Now why you ask? The media and propaganda wanna make you believe in Santa, but by the time you're 30, you know that shit is boo boo now. Society today wanna believe in everything they say, and wanna get mad because nobody's doing it your way. Everybody keeps on forgetting that there's that other half that's gonna go against just everything that you had planned. Believe me, I don't like it, so I just stay up in my brand. Society's going to hell, we left this bitch up trash and can.